power is generated, it is transmitted and supplied. After all, everyone was scared that something will happen to them and how do they take care of themselves. But I think the Indian power sector did exceedingly well during that period. Not a single day of supply was disrupted, and I must compliment all the people who are here in this hall who have been associated with the power sector for doing this. The second is that last 3 years the demand of power has gone up. Sir, before COVID, we used to have a peak power of something like 180 gigawatt. We used to have a demand of about 1 trillion units. But in last 3 years, we have seen that the demand has gone up. It went up to 210, and last year it was 241. And the peak demand of 241 was met in this country without any disruption of supply. So I think this is the big achievement of the government to ensure, and I do know that the Honorable Minister personally monitors the generation, have number of meetings, review meetings to ensure that how the coal supply takes place to the various power plants, gas supply, or even imported coal plants, how they are going to operate. So I think the type of commitment where he is driving all these things right from the front is phenomenal, and I would like to again compliment the Indian power sector for doing exceedingly well. We expect that this year our peak demand will go up substantially. Numbers are being talked of 260 to 270 gigawatt. And people ask me that what will happen? Do you think we will be able to meet the demand? And I always tell them that we will be able to meet. The Indian power sector is very robust, very resilient, very committed. And if there is one sector globally which is showing that sort of resilience and commitment, it's the Indian power sector. Somehow I feel that the recognition and celebration of what the Indian power sector has done is not being given the true value, but I think they do exceedingly well. Nowhere in the world people have been able to face the crisis that we have seen in last 2 years and have been able to meet 24/7 power supply. I think in our country we have been able to do, and I am very confident that this will continue in this year and in future years also. People also ask that the demand of power is increasing and what will happen in terms of capacity addition. And I just wanted to share a few data points. The generation capacity of this country on the turn of the century 2001-2 was just 100 gigawatt. Next 10 years, 2011-12, we were just 200 gigawatt. And today we are 426 gigawatt. We have doubled every 10 years. And people ask me, will you be able to do 500 gigawatt of clean energy by 2030? And I tell them that you see our track record, we have done it. And we will do it in next 10 years. We will, from 426, we will become 900 gigawatt. This is definitely achievable. This also puts that much burden on each one of you who is here and everyone who is associated with the power sector, that how do they rise to the occasion? How do we make this power more reliable? How do we make it more resilient? How do we make this more power secure? And there are a number of issues we have. We find that there is more and more of renewable energy that is coming into the grid. There is more and more of storage will come into the grid. There will be more of electric vehicle which will come into the grid. And quality of power will get impacted. How do you take care of it? Unlike earlier times where it was unidirectional flow of power from one direction, long distance transmission systems, now you have multiple sources of power. Locally it is generated and generated at centralized locations. How do you take care of it on a real-time basis? So the flow of power as well as the flow of data will happen on real-time basis, and it is very, very important that today our grid becomes much smarter. And Mr. Arsiwala did mention about the smart grid, IoT. So I think the next big change that has to happen is how do we make our grids much stable, much resilient, using IoTs, using sensors, using some state-of-the-art technologies in terms of demand-side management, demand response, to see that we are able to have multiple sources of generation and multiple users, and they doing it simultaneously. So this is something which requires a lot of R&D effort, requires a lot of effort, where not only it is people working in silos of generation and transmission and distribution, but working right across to see that this sort of solution is being provided. Another area that I think which is very important is that we have seen that today renewable power is becoming a norm. But if renewable power has to be 24/7, better storage solutions have to come. We have seen that a lot of work is happening in battery space. In fact, this week, sir, the first 120 megawatt hour storage battery with solar will get commissioned for SECI in Chhattisgarh. We are commissioning that plant, and we do hope this is the beginning of many more such large storage projects which will happen in the country. Similarly, at some stage, we will have alternate chemistries of for storage. Today, it's only lithium ion. How do we bring down the cost, and how do we make renewable power with storage and everything less than 4 rupees or 3 rupees? And I think that can only happen if we have better technologies in storage, not only the lithium ion, but the sodium batteries and the other flow batteries which are to be developed, and where a lot of R&D effort is required from the Indian industry. Another big area that Honorable Minister has been talking about is about the hydrogen, and how do we make hydrogen affordable. With the government support, some of the pilot projects will come, but I think we need to do a much deeper R&D to ensure that hydrogen becomes more affordable, whether it is for mobility purpose or it is for storage purpose or for other applications for industries. And that's an area that we need to do. One point that I wanted to mention to all of you is that as a country, we have become very, very strong in terms of our generation capability, in terms of our transmission capability, in terms of our distribution capability, and I do know that all of you are very much involved in the distribution sector. There is a large number of order base that you have, and the supplies are becoming a constraint. But what we also need to look at is that how do we make the grids much smarter? Today, many of the things in terms of automation, in terms of SCADA, GIS, and of course, the smart metering, which is happening under RDSS, has to be connected together. They are all sitting on separate platforms. They need to be integrated, and that is the way that we will be able to manage our grids in a much smarter way. So there is a great opportunity. If someone asks me today that how is the Indian power sector, I always tell them it cannot be better than this. This is a decade for Indian power sector. We just have to keep our head down, do the right things, spend money on R&D, ensure that some of the new technologies that are being developed, how do we implement it, do pilot projects, do POCs, and then take it forward and scale it up. Because the way the Indian power sector is growing, we'll have a lot of work in times to come. So I don't think any one of you should be worried about the work. And I did hear that there are some 40 delegates from outside. If people have to do business and grow, they should come to India and do business, because Indian power sector is going to grow very fast. So once again, best wishes to all of you. And I can only tell you that we are very fortunate to have Honorable Minister, who is a hands-on minister. Just before coming over here, someone introduced him. And he says, I know you have not done some work, because he's a minister who knows exactly where what is happening, and he leads from the front. So thank you very much for your leadership, sir. And I look forward to interacting with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. May I now invite our chief guest, Honorable Minister Shri R.K. Singh Ji, for his address.
Shri Hamza Asriwala, President AIMA and the Chairperson of CELMEC, Mr. Praveen Sinha, the CEO and Managing Director of Tata Power, Mr. Sunil Singhvi, the President-elect AIMA, Mr. Vikram Gandotra, Vice President AIMA, Charu Mathur, Director General AIMA, Mr. Hardeep Singh, Chairperson of Distribulec, Mr. Shashi Amin, the CEO, Cable Business of Power Industries, Mr. Imtiaz Siddiqui, Chairman Intellect and CEO Alternova. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, this is a family gathering. And as the head of a family, it is incumbent upon me, generally, to be able to, my responsibility, to look into the future and tell you what I anticipate the future to be, so that you can prepare for it. It is my job, my responsibility to tell you that this is what is going to happen, so that you are prepared for it. This is also so that is one aspect on which I will spend my time. This is also an opportunity to look back and, in our case, celebrate. In our case, in our family's case, celebrate. Celebrate because we have been as a family very successful. If India is the largest economy growing at the fastest rate in the world, of all the large economies, our rate of growth is the fastest in the world. And that, to a large extent, is because of us, because of you and me. Because without electricity, there is no growth. When I joined, in my ministry, I saw a perverse outlook in the field of transmission, for example. And the idea in the policy and the idea in the transmission sector was that let the load come and then we shall provide the transmission. I said that it is utter nonsense. The load will come after you provide the transmission, because without electricity there is no industrialization. So I had to change it. I had to struggle to change it. That you have to build the transmission before the load. You have to anticipate the load. But that is the outlook which we have had to change. But we've done it. We have done it. And the scale of what we have done is mind-boggling. When our government came to office in 2014, the peak demand was about 130 odd gigawatts. And today we've already touched a peak demand of 243,000 megawatts, an increase of 80%. That's the rate of growth. I mean, and 80% growth in this. We have increased our established capacity by almost about 71%, 72% to meet this demand. Today, our established capacity is about 426 gigawatts. It used to be about 280 gigawatts or 270 gigawatts when we came into office. We've added that much. We've added almost about 180, 190,000 megawatts of generation capacity. And yet, when we added that, when we started this, we felt that we added 90,000 megawatts in the past 9 years. We added 90,000 megawatts of thermal, all told. We added about 107,000 megawatts of renewables, all told, etc. Now, I felt that we had added enough and we had surplus. But the growth which we spurred actually, outpaced even my expectations. So we added capacity, we increased transmission lines by added almost about 190,000 circuit kilometers of transmission lines. We strengthened our distribution by spending almost 2 lakh crores on the Gyan Jyoti, the IPDS, Saubhagya, etc. By constructed about 3,000 substations, upgraded almost about 4,000 substations, about 8.5 lakh of HT lines, LT lines, almost about 8 lakh new transformers, etc. We added all this, and because of this, the demand picked up. This is one reason. Why? Because of course, one major thing was that we collected every village, every home, and they collected almost about 29 million homes, 18,000 odd villages. All that added to the increase in demand which we see now. And the rate at which is increasing is something which I had also not imagined possible. For a period of about 3 months or so, the rate of increase was almost about 20%. But last year we grew at 9%. This year we expect that we'll grow at about 10%. We'll keep growing. You see, India is an economy which is going to keep growing. That is what we have to prepare for. And we have to make this growth possible. Economists say that we will continue with a rate of growth of almost 7% for the next 3 decades. Now, this means that we will have to grow at the same rate for the next 3 decades. Because we have tried to bring about energy efficiency so as to decouple the GDP growth to some extent from the power intensity. We tried to bring down the power intensity by energy efficiency measures, which have also been very successful. Our energy efficiency measures have also been successful. But despite that, energy efficiency, our rate of growth has to be about 7% year on year for the next 30 years. That's what this is going to be. Our installed capacity in 2031 will be about 900 gigawatts. Today it's about 426 gigawatts. It will be about 900 gigawatts. I expect our demand also to go up. My people tell me that the peak demand will be about 366,000 megawatts by 2030. I think it will be slightly more. I think it will be almost around 400 gigawatts. That's what the peak demand is going to be. You have to double. Our consumption is going to double, so everything is going to double. Just imagine. We have to double the number of transformers that we have installed. We have to double the length of LT lines. We have to double the length of HT lines. We have to double the number of meters. We have to double everything. So that is what we have to do. That's the biggest challenge before us. But that is something which is an indicator of growth. You have to grow, and you have to grow faster. There's one thing which I want from, and that is I want to grow not on the basis of any imported element. Right now, a lot of we make most things ourselves here. But still we import some things. I don't want to do those imports either. I want everything. I want 10% make in India. So that is something that we have to make first. And we will continue to be the fastest growing large economy in the world for the next 3-4 decades. This is the market. This is the market. There is no bigger market. And as far as Europe is concerned, the United States is concerned, they've reached a growth so that their rate of growth is going to go beyond 2%. They've already reached that level. So our rate of growth will not go below 7%. So this is where the market is going to be. And you have to prepare yourself for that future. That future is huge. Imagine, a country as big as ours doubling its per capita consumption. And that is what is going to happen. Doubling its installed capacity. That is what is going to happen. We already are preparing for it. When this tremendous growth started, I had about 27,000 megawatts of thermal capacity under construction. I've increased that to 80,000 megawatts. So apart from that 27,000 megawatts under construction, now about 26,000 odd, I have bid out about 12,000 megawatts of more thermal capacity, and almost about 20,000 megawatts are under various clearances. In another 2-3 years, after all the clearances, I'll have about 80,000 megawatts of thermal capacity under construction. And I already have about 99,000 megawatts of renewable energy capacity under construction. And I'm going to bid out 50,000 megawatts of renewable energy capacity every year. This is just to meet my demand. Hydro was almost, dead. It was, when I joined, it was dead. We have revived it. Now I have 18,000 megawatts of hydro under construction because we have a total established capacity of 46,000 megawatts of hydro. We have 18,000 megawatts of hydro under construction and 13,000 megawatts of hydro under various clearances. we keep adding transmission lines. You know, we are adding transmission lines at a pace unknown. And we have, of course, like in everything, like in all the entire sector, we've changed the rules to make it more viable, to make it simpler. And that we have done across the sector. Now, transmission lines added huge quantum, so I felt that I had added enough transmission. But 119,000, 200,000 circuit kilometers is huge. But it turns out that I didn't add enough. So I am running up to keep pace. We have run out of connectivity. Basically, we have to add more transmission capacity in a hurry. So that, you know, we'll keep having to add transmission capacity. There also, you know, you have to now look ahead. So what the future is going to be, I have already said HVDC. I want HVDC made in India. Do that. HVDC overhead. Then you have to make cables here, underwater cables, because we are going to have about 35,000 megawatts of offshore wind. That is also something which we are going to roll out rapidly. We already come out with some bids that is going to accelerate. So we need underwater cables. I don't want to be importing them. So start making them here. And gradually, what I was discussing, Hamza, was that, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking about policies which will force people to make in India. Because I don't want to buy, you see, I am the market, I don't want to buy things made abroad. I want to buy things made in India. So we'll come out with a policy. I'm thinking about it. If you have any inputs, give me that policy. So that is the direction you need to go to. You need to go into the direction of storage. You need to go into the direction of reversible pumps, because you have almost about 40,000 megawatts of pumped hydro under various stages of clearances. And I want to add more pumped hydro. So you need to go into that direction of reversible, you know, the turbine come pump, etc. So that all that equipment comes here. Basically, I will double everything. I'm going to double everything because that is what is necessary. Similarly, the demand, as I said, the demand is growing, and I'm putting in place policies which will ensure that the demand will continue. I perceived a tendency among distribution companies, you know, not to sign long-term PPAs and depend on the market. I said that won't do. So I brought in a set of rules, you know, whereby I said, and this was logical. I said that everybody who has a distribution license has a responsibility to tie up enough capacity to meet the demand of the area which it is licensed to serve. Is that right? So I put that into the rules. And this will be assessed by a committee, you know, headed by the chairperson of CEA. That's what we are doing. And they work out that this is the quantum of energy which you have to tie up to meet the demand of your area. You see, because my philosophy is clear. My philosophy is that we are here to serve the people. And you can't have an attitude, the way, you know, that I call the hangover of the colonial attitude, where I say that, okay, if I feel that the electricity in the exchange is expensive, I'll not buy electricity and I'll do load shedding. No, I have made rules that you can't do load shedding. I have made rules that if you do load shedding gratuitously, that means without any technical fault, you do willful load shedding, you will be penalized. And I am carrying out inquiries, and I'm going to launch my first prosecution. And the people prosecuted will be the people who do the load shedding. Because we are here to serve the people, there is absolutely no reason to do load shedding. The load has to be translated into demand, has to be translated into PPAs. So adequacy of resources being tied up into PPAs. And I have said that about 75 to 80% has to be long term. Another 10% will be medium term. And then only about not more than 5-7% will be short term. That means in the exchange or bilateral short term. So all this is, you know, all the capacity which I am setting up, that demand and the PPAs will come. So don't worry about that. I'm going to make sure that PPAs will come, because ultimately the people need 24/7 supply. We are there. We are almost there. We've sort of brought down the hours of supply in rural areas almost about, you know, at one point it touched 22 hours. Now it's almost, it is 21 hours. It will touch again 22 hours. And in urban areas, almost 23.8 hours. But all this has to be 24/7. Otherwise, there will be penalties. I have already initiated inquiries. I got complaints from some areas, and then I'll prosecute someone. So this is a message which needs to go out, that you can't do load shedding. People have a right to 24/7 supply. Losses of discom, I have made the sector viable. Losses of discoms have also come down. We brought it down from 27% to 15%. And now we are going to bring it down to 12%. And this is just by tightening the system, by making it certain that those who consume power have to pay for it. Now, if you want to give subsidy, go right ahead, but you have to pay for it. So that, power is not free. I keep saying that. And it has begun to sink in. I have made rules to ensure that it sinks in. If you don't pay, you'll get cut off. That is why I'm going into prepaid for everything. I mean, all my power system is prepaid. I put that in the rules. The future metering will all be prepaid, and it will be smart prepaid. Of course, I want Made in India smart prepaid, incidentally. So, whatever is the important content, that also you make in India. If you want to do the reverse engineering, I don't mind. Whatever, it has to be made in India, smart prepaid. I'm not going to spend this billions and billions of dollars, which are coming here, which we are spending on the system. I don't want it to go out. I want the capacity to develop here. We are going to be the manufacturers. We are already the manufacturers of the world. We will be the only manufacturers of the world. That is my ambition. You can call it a very sort of jingoistic attitude, but that is what there is. We are a huge market, so that we have the advantages of a huge market. We provide the demand, so we want it to be made here. So my system has become viable. The test of viability is that now the shares of all my companies have doubled, tripled, 3 times. So all those who bought shares of any power sector company a year back, their share values have multiplied. The values of my enterprises have gone up 2 times, 3 times. And there are no bill spending. As far as power is concerned, all bills are paid up to date. This is the only country where all power bills of GenCos are up to date, where the legacy dues have also been almost cleared off. Out of 1,35,000, now only about 50,000 remains. That also will be cleared off. And this system will continue. This system will continue because we have built it into the software. We can do things. We can grow rapidly. And this is a sector which has to grow rapidly because we lead, you and me, we lead the growth. Without us, nothing will run. No industry will come up. So, we have willingly to lead, and we shall lead. As I said, we shall add capacity at a pace, unheard of. And we are already doing that. And of course, we are also, setting up the manufacturing. Earlier, all our renewable energy capacity used to be, based on modules coming from China. No more. Now I have almost about 50,000 megawatts of manufacturing capacity of modules. The cell manufacturing capacity is going to go up. And give me a couple of years, the entire value chain from polysilicon to modules will be made here. We already have bid it out, and their bidders are constructing capacity. So we shall be the biggest manufacturers of, the polysilicon, wafers, cells, modules. We are already one of the biggest manufacturers of wind equipment. And we will also become one of the biggest manufacturers of offshore wind equipment. And of course, we are going to emerge as a leader in green hydrogen. I already have about 7 million tons of green hydrogen planned in different places by different industries. Now, all this is not being done by the public sector. All this is not being done by public investment. I am getting investment. Every bid I hold is hotly contested. So every major fund is already invested here. And for good reason, because they get good returns. Every major fund in the world is invested here, and they'll continue being invested here because we are the ones who are growing. Where else do you see the growth? China's growth has dampened. Where else do you see the growth? The growth is here, and it'll continue to be here for the next 3 decades. Now you have to prepare for it. You have to be prepared to grow at a rate which you have not seen, and I think that that is the future of this country, not only in this sector, but in all sectors. But we have to lead. If we don't grow, India will not grow. That is how critical this sector is. But we shall grow. We shall grow. And we shall, of course, as we grow, as our industry grows, we shall also export. People tell me that there are buyers from different countries. So that is natural because we have this huge manufacturing capacity. So the price at which you will be able to make things, the quality of things which you will make will be unparalleled. Because elsewhere, the industry will be dying out. I mean, this is where the growth is, this is where the demand is, and this is where the industry will be, and this is where the industry will grow. So I wish you all a great future ahead. I see you all multiplying to twice, thrice the present size. You have to multiply twice, thrice the present size because my demand is going to double and triple. And this huge country with a doubling demand, a tripling of demand is huge. But it's exciting. It's exciting. And it is this challenge which keeps people alive, which keeps us alive. So we relish the challenge, and of course we shall beat it. We've never missed on a challenge yet, so we'll not miss on this challenge, but the biggest challenge in India, and we are up to it. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
थैंक यू सर। सर एक थोड़ी सी जुर्रत करूंगी, आपने कहा ईगो, मुझे नहीं लगता वो ईगो है, वो हमारा गर्व है और वो हमारा प्राइड है इंडस्ट्री में और हमारा कॉन्फिडेंस एज इंडिया कि आज हम आत्मनिर्भर हैं, कल विश्व हम पर निर्भर है। सो विद दैट आई रिक्वेस्ट सर, आपने क्वालिटी पे बहुत जोर दिया, तो आज ईमा आपकी प्रेजेंस में एक कमिटमेंट करना चाहती है और मैं सुनील सिंघवी जी से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी वो कमिटमेंट मंत्री जी को बताएं।
Honorable Minister Shri R.K. Singh Ji, Shri Praveer Sinha Ji, MD and CEO Tata Power. First of all, sir, thank you very much for reassuring industry that there is a huge opportunity in India to make the right investment, and not only make India will be sufficient to meet India, but I can assure you, and I can assure you 200 buyers sitting here, okay, we can not only be leader in India, but we can be global leader for manufacturing and design of electrical equipment. Sir, you asked for the smart people and other products. Let me assure you, India is not able to meet its own demand, but more than 50-60 countries buys meters and other products from India, including developed, but not only from developing world. It's a great honor for India. Sir, you talked about the reliability of the power supply. And one of the most important components for the reliability of power supply is the quality of the equipment and safety practices. And it's very close to my heart, and we have been talking in IMA for the last 2 years, that if we have to be global leader in electrical equipment, then our quality have to be the world in the best. And this year, we'll be starting an initiative, a year-long initiative of quality and safety. And what we are starting, say, quality cell in IMA, which will be driven by the board of IMA and will be chaired by the senior quality professional of IMA membership. And so we'll create awareness among our members and industry and users about the safety and quality practices. We'll do benchmarking, even with maybe auto industry, etc., and encourage industry to adopt the best manufacturing practices. And I can assure you, members and everybody, this will not increase the cost. This will reduce wastage and will make us more competitive on the global scale. On the second phase, after we make it successful, we'll start cluster program. We'll make a small cluster, and where members will help each other to improve the quality of the product and take it to the global scale. And I can assure you, and I'm very confident, in the next 2 years' time, we'll be at the global scale in the electrical equipment. Sir, I need one help from you. And we have been talking to you about the L1 buying. Because what happens if you want to become a quality product and quality global scale, then rather than buying on L1, we should start buying on the lowest cost of ownership. And I requested you just now also. So I think DISCOM you've taken many initiatives. One more initiative, you could start buying on a total cost of ownership. And you can hire professionals who can, even the number of utilities of the world are buying total cost of ownership. And it will be a great service to the industry And it will help us to grow our transformer industry or switchgear industry on a global scale, I can assure you. So once again, thank you for guiding. And I think I request all the members in helping us in our important initiative of quality and safety this year. Thank you very much. And we'll play a film here.
So I'll take just 2 minutes more. We'll request you to announce the dates for Elecrama 2025. This is a show which is your show, sir. Show directory. Shashi ji, if you can just.
Well, we'll be quick. Honorable Minister Sir, Shri R.K. Singh ji, Shri Parveez Sinha ji, my colleagues from the industry, ladies and gentlemen. On this occasion, as we gather under the aegis of BuildLec, Intellect, and DigitalLec 2024, it's my esteemed privilege and honor to extend our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has contributed to the resounding success of this show. Our deepest gratitude goes to our chief guest, the Honorable Cabinet Minister of Power, Renewable Energy, the star power of the Cabinet, Shri R.K. Singh ji. Sir, your esteemed presence has not only graced this event, but also highlighted the government's commitment in transforming the power sector. We extend our compliments to the government for its notable achievements. IEEMA is dedicated in collaborating with you, sir, to realize our nation's objectives. Rest assured, IEEMA and its members will constantly support and work in tandem with your good self in the government. We are especially grateful to Dr. Parveez Sinha ji, CEO and Managing Director of Tata Power Company Limited, for generously dedicating his time to speak with the IEEMA members, a brand as we all know and grown with. I also thank the delegates across the globe of around 40 countries to come and be a part of this show. I now invite all the delegates to kindly make your way back to the representative stalls of yours to welcome the minister upon his arrival at your location. And at the end, I would just like to request, sir, I stand in front of you as an MSC member. And on behalf of all the MSC members and SME, sir, I thank you for giving us hope and the opportunity. And I assure you that in the coming times, India will witness merging billion-dollar companies from this MSME segment, sir, possibly in your third term of power. Thank you so much.